Welcome, travelers. I'm Elizabeth Manoukian, and this is Genesis and the Lumenairians. A strange rain came that night. Genesis tossed and turned under her neon-hued comforter. The blue glow of the holographic digital clock lit the corner of the room. 2:47 a.m. Lightning hit the ocean somewhere out towards the horizon, far off from her cozy condo on the beach, and blasted the room with 3 white flashes, shortly followed by a timpani of thunder. Genesis looked at her dog, not rattled at all by the thunder and lightning, nor the sound of heavily crashing waves against the shore, or the rain that fell in the windy curtains against the flat roof of her condo. Geiger's familiar face was in her dream. Seeing him had brought her a warmth of connection that she hadn't properly felt in a long time. His face appeared in her dream, just as it was the last time she had seen him, fully freckled, honey-brown-eyed and fiery red eyebrows, and hair neatly kempt like a flame atop his head.
"Genesis,"
he said to her, smiling with his lips still closed. "Geiger, I miss you," she thought to him. He put his finger up to his lips to shush her, even though she had only spoken to him in dream-speak with her mind. He appeared to her in a gray room, completely filled with mist. He walked forth out of it, nothing surrounding him. Genesis couldn't even see the floor he was standing on. He kept the finger over his mouth and lifted his other hand and pointed at something to his right, keeping his shining brown eyes locked on hers. Before Genesis had a moment to look where he was gesturing, a bright glow warmed the side of her face from the direction he was pointing. She turned to look. It was a Lumenairian, bobbing and shape-shifting. The Lumenairians did not make sense to the average human eye, due to the fact that they were not from this dimension. Their forms seemed to constantly shift. One moment they would appear as a human-sized amoeba, the next narrowing down into a single point, then a line, and then back into an amoeba-like shape. The only constant was the consistency of their makeup, which reminded Genesis of champagne. They had this warm, transparent, gold-yellow essence that poured forth from them in light, warming the room up and warming those who gazed at them from the inside out in a soothing manner, like those ancient, outlawed, incandescent bubble lights that Ursula used to secretly put on their Christmas tree. A Lumenairian was something you could not look away from once you saw it. Its movements and glow and soothing effect on the human mind was so brilliant and attractive. Its pulsations locked you into an induced meditative state, and you felt hypnotized only moments after gazing upon one. Just as Genesis felt herself begin to be entranced, the Lumenairian began to communicate with Genesis's mind through its energetic pulsations along the strings of the universe. "A balance must be kept, Jenny," the Lumenairian dictated to Genesis. The feeling of this creature felt so warm and wonderful to her, like a grandmother you hadn't seen in a long time that always made cookies for you and brought you presents. Genesis fought the comfort and attempted to extract information from the creature. "Where is my mother? How do I get to her?"
"Time is a wheel. What do wheels do?"
Genesis was annoyed at this riddle. Not very nice of this Lumenairian to poke fun and patronize her sub-intelligent human brain. Why didn't it just give her the information? "I don't know. Where is my mother? What does this have to do with her? How do I get to her? How do I save her?"
What do wheels do?
The Lumenairian sent the repeating message in rapid pulses towards Genesis's mind. Genesis felt a heat grow in her cheeks from the increasing power of the energy being aimed at her.
"They roll!"
she yelled, holding her head that was growing warmer and warmer. Did she have a fever?
"Go within, Jenny. Roll back. Roll back."
The Lumenarian faded into a small golden line, back into an amoeba for a second, into a golden dot, and then out of sight. Genesis felt Geiger had been standing there next to her during this conversation, but when she looked back at where he had been, he was gone. In his place was a very small black point that looked like a fleck of dust on glass. Difficult to make out, but against the gray, endless haze before her, she could see it. She squinted her eyes. Without anything to base her distance on in this formless space, she had a hard time telling how far she was from the speck. Suddenly, it jolted violently into a straight dark line that expanded as far as she could see to the left and the right in front of her. A blue sizzle like the charge from an electric eel ran down it, making an awful high-pitched squealing noise. Then suddenly it popped from a line into a squid-like form that engulfed the whole space around her. The darkness that now surrounded her was filled with blue static electric charges sizzling and squealing. She held her ears to try and block the loud sounds, when she realized they were in her head. Then, the floor was gone, and she was suddenly falling down, 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 deep into the darkness. She felt her stomach fly into her throat. She was falling, unable to scream, and her breath had left her. All of a sudden, the falling abruptly stopped, and she was suspended in something liquid. Complete silence surrounded her.
Roll back.
Geiger's voice whispered too close to her ear. Genesis then awoke in the waves of the storm-stirred waters of the ocean, the sky a deep, dark gray-black, choking on the water. As she thrashed up to the storm-torn surface of the sea, she could see the blue glow from inside her condo far off on shore, about a quarter of a mile in. She coughed and took a deep breath, and began to swim back to land through the rain and lightning overhead. You've been listening to Genesis and the Lumenairians, an original podcast with story, music, and production by me, Elizabeth Manoukian. The character of Geiger is performed by Nick Robinson. You can support this podcast by going to our Patreon at patreon.com/Genesis and the Lumenairians. Genesis and the Lumenairians is a Siren in the Strapica production. Until next time, travelers, keep searching.